In high school, my parents had went through a divorce. There was a lot of things that was going on that I felt that wasn't the best thing for me as far as my development coming out of school. A few guys that I hung out with, also a few of the situations I was put into, I really felt that I was going to get in a lot of trouble. So I felt like the Marine Corps would help me contain that and help me figure out what I wanted to do. I really don't know the exact incident that caused my injuries, but being in a combat zone, you're close range to mortars. We had to go out on search and recoveries. There was falls, there was accidents that happened, and also the environment that I was in. So I think all of those things together were the reason why I struggled and realized some of my injuries when I got back home. So there was some incidents at home that my wife, she was really worried about me. She recommended that I should go get help, just because she felt like that I wasn't the person that I was at the moment. I was known in school to be a class clown, very sociable person. I wasn't really that. Also, I was really challenged by a boss at my job who couldn't understand what I was going through. So he was a very results-driven person. And when the results wasn't there like it was before I got activated, I think he felt like his job was to motivate me in ways that didn't help me at the time. And I responded a lot differently than I normally would have. I was at a vet group. It was a Marietta Vet Center. And the psychologist there recommended the SHARE program to me. Going through SHARE from day one, the first week, it wasn't really the SHARE staff, even though they were phenomenal, but it was actually the other SHARE veterans that were there. Just spending time with them and just hearing their testimonies about what the program had did for them convinced me that this is something that I should do full time. So the funny thing is when I got my schedule of what I was going to do, I was like, wow, this is a lot of stuff. In the civilian environment, a lot of times what veterans get intimidated by is they see a lot of things and it's not fully explained to us. In SHARE, it was explained to you and then they held your hand through it. Something that a lot of veterans really needed, especially coming back home and try to acclimate themselves back into the world. There was times within sessions where my wife wanted to come sit in, and if she would, she was allowed, that door was open for her to come sit down. Even in the recap groups where it was just the counselors and myself, my family was allowed to come. So my daughters were allowed to come in and, ask me silly questions afterwards. They say you can tell if someone is an engineer when they're younger because a lot of engineers talk about, hey, I broke down a radio piece by piece to see what made it work. That's what SHARE did with me. It broke me down like that radio, piece by piece, to see what made me work or what type of help I needed. I work with an organization called Warrior Life Services. I work with veterans with brain injuries. I work with veterans that need support with their lifestyles to become more independent. And I'm really excited that I can use SHARE as a resource and actually talk about something that I actually did that they can look at and say, wow, well, if he went through this program and he's felt like he's got better, that's something that I should try. My struggles will still be there. I'm still gonna go through things and not understand what happened in combat. But now I have an action plan. Yes, I left SHARE. SHARE didn't really leave me.